Mic check, Tyson, Tyson. How do I sound? Can you hear me? Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing, 1, 2, 3. Okay?
Good morning. We're going to get rolling here. There are a few people kind of coming in at the end, and I see they ate breakfast late. So when I see a couple people, I know we're at the end of the line. I think we're getting close to everybody being here. I want to welcome everybody back, and I will tell you that Mrs. Foley always tries to keep me organized, and she's got 3 pages here. Hopefully I stay on track, but I'm not going to go crazy here as far as following her information. She tries. I'm kind of one of those that veers off quite frequently. I do have a couple things I need to do, kind of announcements, and I know HR had something for me to read, but they never gave it to me. So you might be off the hook on that one. We'll see. Just want to at least start out, thank you for joining us this morning. Thank you for being here. thank you for your commitment to District 518. We have a lot of wonderful students in our buildings, and I want to tell you that we have good kids here. They are challenging at times, but generally, overall, really good kids. So with that, I want to make sure we stay on the positive. We talk about the good, the changing attitudes, and making this world a better place. We have things such as excellent academic for our students, good athletes, great fine arts, and those all happen based on relationships and connections you people form with your students and your colleagues. So before I forget, we want to thank the food service folks for breakfast. And our custodial group for making sure all the buildings are ready to roll. And I'm not going to try and remember everybody, but the office folks in all the buildings work all summer long to make sure that very first day for you today goes off well as for when our students show up. That does include the translators. Where's Herminio? See, I got that in there, Herminio. And all those other areas I didn't mention, thanks for all your hard work to make sure we're ready for our students the very first day. So with that, I'm going to do introductions of the school board members, not the administrators. There's too many of them. So, Mr. Lorenz, who is the chair of the board. Lori Dudley's the vice chair. Steve Schneider, the clerk. And I know Erin Schutte-Wadinsky is here. And just so you know, if she gets up and leaves, she has to go to work. Okay? So I told her, just duck out. She'll be good. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Schneider to come up and address all of you from the school board and kind of give you a little information or talk.
Not really. First of all, good morning. Second of all, on behalf of the school board, the community, and the students that we serve, welcome back. We appreciate your dedication. We appreciate all that you do, not only during the school year, but during the summertime too. School is not just a 9-month-a-year job for many of you. And also, thank you very much for everybody who works as a team. Teachers are very integral, but every other employee that participates in our district and employees of our district are a key integral part of us providing an education to the students. We can't do it without everybody working together. And I think Blake did a very good job at the school board meeting the other night. Thank you all who showed up and were participating in that. We appreciate your interest and taking the time to do that. But I think he's right. We have a great team here. We work together. It doesn't mean we don't have problems once in a while, but we work through them and we find solutions. Also, I'm very thankful that through the years, the school district has put air conditioning in the buildings. I think in the last few days, we're going to appreciate having that air conditioning, especially starting today. We have a few other things that are going to be happening. I don't know if John was going to mention those or not. Obviously, the West Elementary School is coming down. We have a little bit of work at the intermediate school to do yet with the gym curtains and the walls in there, I think, have to go in yet. And there's a few other odds and ends that have to be done in the buildings from past construction projects. But we're very positive that we'll get all those things wrapped up this year and we'll be moving on. In the long run and stuff, there's always challenges. We're still working on the grounds at the intermediate school. We have some projects going on there yet. We are also going to be looking into the high school space. It's one of the last facilities right now that we still have concerns with, and we want to look at what we can do to provide a few more classrooms and what it's going to take to get that financed. So those are some of the things we'll be working on this next year, this coming year here. And we just want to say thank you very much again for you all being here. And first of all, getting up earlier in the morning than some of you are probably used to. It's time to get used to that, I guess. Next week it'll be for a long time. Thank you again.
Next, I'm going to invite Jody Hansen up. She's got a quick announcement about, I believe, your meeting. So she said she's only going to take a minute or less.
Hello, welcome back to Worthington Public Schools for another wonderful year. We do have an Education Minnesota Worthington meeting today at 11:30 in the high school cafeteria. I have 70 pizzas coming from Pizza Ranch, so I really, really, really want all the members to show up. So please come and help us eat all this pizza. Thanks.
So with the announcements at this point out of the way, let's talk about summer projects, upcoming initiatives, things that are happening. At the middle school, we've started phase 1 of the parking lot. Hopefully, they'll kind of be out of your way, and those at the middle school, you'll figure out that things are done. We have that planned for a phase 2 and a phase 3 until that parking lot is entirely replaced. The chiller out at Prairie is up and working. Thank goodness. Come on, elementary, you can do that better than that. This week it's going to prove its worth because it's going to get warm. Also, we have the Trojan Band who is planning a trip, and they're headed for San Diego. So if any of you got flocked, I got it twice, so hopefully some of you got it as well. The other part that is kind of near and dear and part of hopefully what I help get going is our own Grow Our Own initiative or Teacher Pathway project. That started a number of years ago, and I can tell you that we now have amongst all of you here some of those folks that either started or have transitioned through that program and now are District 5-8 employees. I'm so excited about that, and hopefully in the future that will help address some of those open positions we still have. But that's exciting to have people starting that program, starting to work, and us get a few positions filled. Here's maybe where the HR piece comes in. Maybe Ann got ahead of me. We have a new system for absent management and placement software. It's called Red Rover. We're hoping Red Rover is a little more friendly as a user, and we're asking that you go in and everyone set up their accounts if you have not done that yet, so you get that piece taken care of. If you haven't or you have difficulties, please contact the HR department. So with that, what's next coming our way? And Mr. Schneider brought some of that up. One, this year we'll be talking about the potential of what I'll term phase 3 at the high school, which is addressing a few shortfalls that we have, such as classrooms, potentially a little larger space for our kitchen folks. A little cramped in there if you've never taken a look. But the real goal is to develop a phase 3 that will support the students and staff in this building. We still have teachers on a cart in this building, even after the second story addition. So the goal is to try and get everybody a classroom. We'll see where that heads. Likewise, they're talking about some additional facilities that are things that support the extracurriculars and the community, which would be things like soccer fields and the whole field stuff. So those are things that are out there we're working on. The board recently did have a closed session. They are looking at the potential of additional property, but we'll see where that goes. That has a ways to go, but it has to go quickly. Oh yeah, another exciting thing that's been years in the making and coming. We will have a 4-year-old all-day, everyday program, which will be run out of community education. Please remember, if you have children in there or whatever, it is a pilot year. We're working through it. We have I believe it's 106 slots, or pretty close to that, 8 classrooms full. So we're excited about that one and the positive approach that can help bring our district. The other thing that is out there is with our project starting to come to an end, the intermediate school, there are a few odds and ends that need to get accomplished. The community ed building is in pretty good shape at this point. Most everything is accomplished at this point. The district office, we still have a few things, but we are planning an open house. We've had the open house or ribbon cuttings at all the buildings. The district office open house will be Thursday, September 7th from 3 to 6. And that's open to everyone. That facility now has an upgrade. We have approximately 20 people in there from various departments that were spread out through the district. And we've already found it's become much more efficient and supportive to the entire function or operations of the district. So that's been a really big positive. The other part, and here I would be remiss if I didn't, and also do a little well, I won't do a sales pitch. Promotion. The legacy wall is going in over at Trojan Field. Trojan Field will now have a marker that when you enter the gates from the east side, the legacy wall has been funded by a alumni of the class of 1977, Rick Brandel. He's paying for the overall monument. The dollars that are generated off of each of the levels will go to support those one-time costs of extracurricular activities. It's not just football, it's not just basketball, it's all our fine arts and it's all extracurriculars. So it'll be those one-time costs, not reoccurring type costs. That ribbon cutting is scheduled for Friday, September 15th. And the 3 levels, if you have not considered putting your name in granite on that, level 1 is a $500 paver. It's a 6-inch by 2 feet, or 1 foot, excuse me. The level 2 is $1,500, and that's 1 foot by 2 foot, and the top level is $4,000, and that is a 2 by 2 granite paver. I will tell you that they will be there for the life of that field, and hopefully at some point there's a phase 2 because there's enough interest in people wanting to support District 518, Trojan extracurriculars, and being a part of that. So just important if you would consider that one. So with that, there are some closing remarks, but I have a little bit of different curve that I want to throw at you, and it's something new for me, so I'm going to try it. I'm going to try and tell you a little bit of a story about an individual that I know very well. His name is Darren. His parents, his mom is a very loving, caring, quick-witted individual that raised Darren for a number of years. His dad, or Darren's dad, was an interesting character, but he was a lot of fun. He loved sports. He would tease young people immensely. And it was all about him caring about our youth. And it wasn't just his own family. See, Darren has 4 other siblings, a sister and 3 brothers. But what I really want to explain is Darren was born as a Down syndrome, nonverbal. But you'd never know that about Darren. He always found a way to communicate, and particularly when it came to his favorite, Coke. Darren loved Coke. He loved sports, which I believe he got from his dad, particularly basketball, which also was his dad's love. But all-star wrestling was his favorite growing up. And he'd sit and watch all-star wrestling for hours. Of course, it's different now than it was back then. But some of the things you need to know about Darren. Darren was a hugger, always. And as he was growing up and he was learning in school, you know, the whole personal boundary thing, they were teaching him how to approach people. And with that, of course, was a handshake. So when they started teaching him, Darren would shake hands with people, but then he'd go for the hug. That's because he cared about people. He was always happy, and I'm sure I never saw the other side of it, where he'd get a little cranky like the rest of us. He might be a little stubborn like the rest of us. But you always saw the happy side when he was around others. He did not discriminate. He loved everybody. He also was very good at correcting people, particularly his dad, because his dad would always come up in a caring way, in his teasing way, and he'd come up to you as a child and say, "How you doing, ugly?" And quickly Darren would go with that finger. See, Darren knew the difference between right and wrong. The reason I'm sharing this is Darren passed away beginning of August with some health concerns. But I can tell you, Darren shaped a lot of people's lives. He was happy, loving, he would care about everybody. And the best part is, we all cared about him. He taught us something, how to care for others. And maybe in this world, if we had a few more hugs, which I know in school we're not supposed to do, but again, it's about respecting others, caring for others, and seeing that as an important part of our lives. Doesn't mean we can't have disagreements, doesn't mean we're all on the same page, but we do have to respect everybody. Also, the second part of that is Darren had an infectious laugh. If you told a joke, he got it and he would laugh. He was a smart cookie. So with that, the third part that Darren and I've been trying to remember, some of the things about Darren, is he corrected people nicely. It wasn't insulting, it wasn't anything like that. It was that finger. Because he knew that right from wrong. So what I want to get across today is Darren always looked at the positives. He didn't focus on the negatives, and he had a nice way of correcting that. So I'm encouraging everybody. Again, I'm not encouraging hugging. That's always acceptable for you folks as older, but greeting others, learning to laugh, learning to smile, learning to enjoy life, and nicely reminding people what appropriate behavior is. Here about a month ago, when I was listening to a sermon by a father out of Red Lake Indian Reservation, he expressed and shared during that sermon that on the reservation you can look or see a lot of negatives, and sometimes it's hard to find the positives. That's the goal for everybody. We got to look at the positives. The way the world is going today, we have to spend more time focusing on the positives, not the negatives. We can't let that take over. And maybe to put this in perspective, I brought this because I want you to live life to the fullest. And it's a little scary. When I was out in South Dakota fishing in the last week, I had a guy do this to me. And we'll see if I can get it done. Maybe I'll have to have you come up, Angie, and hold the mic. If you would, help me out, please. So I'll use myself as the example. I'm 63 years old. The average age life expectancy in the United States this year, and I had Mr. Brand Breeze and Google it so I was accurate because he told me a different number, is 80 years old. The nice part for you females is you live a better life than males. Yours is 85. What my point is, life is too short. You got to enjoy life, and you got to do those things, thank you, that make you happy, be productive, and support others. So with that, I don't know if there's other announcements, and I kind of moved this on quickly because I know you got a busy 3 days ahead of you. I'm not going to go into a lot of other stuff. Please remember, be respectful, greet others respectfully, put a smile on your face, have a lot of laughs, enjoy life, because it's way too short. And for some of us, it's even shorter. And remember, it's okay to correct people nicely. I do have to share about Darren, and I'll kind of close with this. Darren's my first cousin. You probably figured that out. Darren was important to all my relatives. By the way, there's 195 of us. So, if you can take one thing from this morning, remember, everybody has challenges, but look for the positives. Let's throw the negative bucket away. And with that, have a great school year. Please ask for support. Please ask for help. We're here, and we have to work together to educate our kids. And thank you. So where do they all have to head? Are you up here, Carmen, next? You're, okay. Back to their buildings. Thank you, Mr. Langsath. Thank you, and oh, wait 1 second, Mr. Hastings running up here for announcement.
High school staff, 10 minutes, meet here in the gym. All high school staff. Thank you.
Have a great day. Stay cool.